Hey guys, it's Quirky Turtle here, back with another Ember Knights Beginner's Guide episode. This is episode 3, and in this one I thought maybe I should go back to the basics and show you guys how to get your first win on Ember Knights. So with that being said, I'm going to be using a brand new slot. So completely default. When you do try to open it, it gives you 3 options of difficulties. Once again, I covered this in the last video. Easy is obviously the easiest, so I'm going to go with easy because you should be using easy if you want to not have a super hard challenge and be having some benefits along the way. So like 20% damage reduction off rip, and then every time you lose after that in the same session, you'll get another 10% up to a max of 80% damage reduction. So with that being said, I'm going to just go straight in, and the goal here is to show you how you can beat the game in one run, literally off rip. People have done it. There's a speedrun category called Fresh File, but I'm going to try to walk you through the build that you want. Since you don't have any healing off the bat, you want to go for some sort of crit heal build. So using Rejuvenation Glove, you can heal on crit, and every third swing of the sword on default, if you're not using any other modifiers, it gives you 25% more crit. So you have a higher chance of critting on your third attack, and you should be third attacking quite a lot. Once again, your enemies here are probably going to be the Wormaws, since they're kind of unpredictable and can spin up very fast. So what I like to do is I like to dash away and then back into them, which allows you to do this funny maneuver where I dash down, but mid dash I attack and it propels you up. And then once again, Chakram, which is telling me to do the use a skill. Anyways, we'll move on here. If you're just starting, you probably might want to take the extra Ember, just for the simple fact that it's a meta progression item. It will help you if you do struggle a lot, because you can start to upgrade the Ember tree a little bit faster. Make sure you do use your skills. Hopefully you got a good skill, like Chakram or Arcane Bolts, Cyclone, except I don't think you can get Cyclone. Anyways, so this is how it starts. It starts with Rejuvenation Glove. And then you want to go for as much health as possible. Because the more health you have, the more damage you can take in one instance and not die. Which is pretty straightforward, right? And we should see Rejuvenation Glove start to pop off here in a second. Yep, there we go. You don't want to stand in one spot for too long, because Oakbanes do make an AoE effect of damage under you. Wow, we got the option of Meteor. I'm gonna take it. It's kind of a blessing, but it's also a curse at the same time. Alright, so onto the mini-boss. The mini-boss does a couple of attacks here. So the first one that he does is a little dash attack. You can easily dodge this, and then the actual dash attack. So I'm going to call these the jab attacks. There's 2 jab attacks in a row, and then he'll spin up some tornadoes, which are not too hard to dodge. This suck attack is pretty easy to dodge. You just gotta make sure that you get out of the range before it actually goes off. Once again, don't forget to use your skills. They're very useful and generally have high damage. Nice, we got healing items off of it. There is 2 chicken in this room, so you can always grab that. Since this is the first run on the save, you have to save Arlen. And there will always be these items for sale, so just grab Bone Plate. That is for the very first run I'm talking about. Once again, these Arachnids have a short range attack that is very you can see it happening. So you know when it happens, so you know that you have to dash out of the way. Or, sorry, dodge out the way. Or you just kill them fast enough so they don't actually get their attack off. It's another thing that can happen. Now, if you're trying to get your first win, you should probably take the route of the extra healing gem, because once again, more max health makes you survive longer. But since this is probably going to be uploaded as a fresh file speedrun, if I actually do beat the game in the first run, then I'm gonna go with a speed route, obviously, which would be taking the healing fountain. Or if you took a lot of damage throughout the run, go the healing fountain way. It'll allow you to heal, I believe, 40 health, or it's 30 health. It's still quite a lot of health. With Skrixa, there's a weak point on her backside, which when you hit it, she'll get stunned. You have to hit it like consistently in a row. I think it's like a damage threshold, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is a guaranteed stun if you do deal enough damage to it. Now, the two phases that Skrixa has is the first phase, when you get her down to 2/3 health, you'll spawn in a bunch of enemies, little racklings. They're very weak. Generally, you can one-shot them. Second wave is 3 Rachnids, which are the bigger enemies, which do have much more health. Fiery imbuement. Yeah, the fiery imbuement. So this is just a first run thing. If you do make it to this point in your very first run, Praxis decides to enhance some enemies. And then you will collect relic orbs, which you can end into Esper once you complete a run or die. He will unlock new relics for you. So there's an achievement to cook food, which is the one that I just got. Or maybe it's just a secret. Might just be a secret. But, yeah, so I cooked food because I have fiery imbuement, so then my attacks were burning. Which, that's how you cook food, is with a burning weapon. Or something that deals fire damage. So, in this area, let's start to talk about the enemies. There's these witches, which will do the ice spikes attack. You can just dash around to the backside, and then the attack basically does nothing, as long as you don't walk back into them. The scouts have a chance to dodge, which is the most annoying thing in this area by far. And then the wizards just lock down like a spot on the ground, which will then be a little like whirlpool, is what I'm gonna call it. I don't know what it actually is, but I should have taken crit chance there. That's totally my fault. So with this crit heal build, you want to scale up your crits so that you have more crits, which will allow you to sustain yourself by healing every single crit. Back to the enemies and how the enemies work. Actually, let's talk about the mini-boss first. So the mini-boss has a couple of attacks here, for this variant at least. He calls down some of these flags, which will freeze you, I believe, or deal some damage every like so often. So there's little waves that they do. Now, Vanguards are going to be your worst nightmare for this area, for sure. They're still scary, and I'm a speedrunner. They just have so much damage. Yeah, you can totally tell when they're going to attack. You should be able to dodge it like 100% of the time. But there's odd times where you accidentally cancel a dodge by using an attack, or something like that happens. Very annoying, but it does happen. Once again, I'm going to the healing fountain because I'm low on health. By low, I mean like half health. And it's always good. Healing fountains will also give you a full charge of your skills now. It is very, very, very helpful, especially when your skills are doing a ton of damage. You can use these horns, which will boost your damage and move speed for a short duration, I believe. So let's talk about the Vanguards again. Vanguards have two different attacks. They have the dash attack, where they dash a long distance towards you. And then they have the attack where they do a bunch of short dashes, but in sequence and pretty fast. Now, those ones are fairly difficult to dodge. Generally, just because they're so close together, you have to like dodge after dodge. Here, you have a bunch of healing items that you can pick up if you're low on health, like I am. There's also 2 apples on the right side that most people forget about. Buruma has a couple of attacks here. His first attack is he does a couple of sword swings, and then he'll start throwing swords down from the sky at you. And then he'll do this dash attack, which you're supposed to lead him into a pillar, and that will stun him. Then between phases, he has this swords attack, which is not very hard. He also has the ice wave attack, or better known as the freezing wave attack, which is also quite annoying if you do get hit by it. This sword attack is very easy to dodge. You just have to go down or up and then dash into the middle and you'll be done with both. Wow. I must have like barely got him through that phase. He was standing there. I thought he was going to do this attack. That was very unlucky. Wasted a lot of time there. That attack hits pretty hard, but it's fine, honestly. Because there is a full heal after you beat up bosses. Unless you turn that off in difficulty modifiers, but you won't have modifiers unlocked unless you beat the run for your first time. So, let's keep moving on. There is a secret here where you hit him, the little snowman dude. That's hide and seek. You get a little bit of Ember for every secret that you complete. Whiteberry has a bunch of enemies that are very annoying, such as this one. I'm not quite sure what his name is, or its name is, for that matter. I just know it's very annoying, so you kill it, and then it'll spawn in another enemy. Volatile Grimlock is solid. And we're gonna go crit here. Once again, more crit gives more sustainability, which then allows you to survive better. I should be up to about 10% crit. So these little enemies are not too hard to deal with. They don't have much health. I think they have like 60 or 70 health, which is not that much. These guys have like 100, 150 maybe. Oh, that's so unlucky. So when you open a chest, there's a chance that it's a mimic. Wow, why can't I dodge those? What the? That's really weird. As I was saying, so when you open a chest, there's a chance for it to become a mimic, or be a mimic, that is, and thus you have to kill it in order to exit the room. Very annoying, but it's generally fine. I'm gonna take more max health here since I'm at very low HP. Having bonus health would help me out with not dying. This guy is going to be a nightmare for most people too. It was a nightmare for me because they added a dagger attack to him, which is extremely annoying. A short range unit now has a long range attack. Very annoying. Okay, so Bullclaw is also going to be a friend, because Bullclaw, like, fun critting, you deal another 3 to 15 damage, which is amazing. So going into this mini-boss, A3 mini-boss. A3 mini-bosses are probably the second hardest mini-boss. Mainly just because they dash around a lot, and they have a lot of projectiles, and basically just AoE attacks. So this variant has those couple of attacks that you saw. Not super difficult by any means. There's also food on the... there's 3 apples in that room. If you have some sort of burn, you could always cook it and then slice it with your sword, and it'll give you some bonus healing. I got another achievement there that was well done. You have to cook a meat bone. Here with more crit once again. More crit gives me more healing, which then will allow me to survive for longer. The werewolves are very annoying. They do a ton of damage, and once there's a bunch of them in a small area, it's kind of difficult to dodge it. The wizard dudes, they just have that laser attack that's not, like, crazy by any means. You can always activate those little tombstones, candles around it, and it'll give you a wisp of some random type, which can give you other elemental effects. Like this one will give me burn, which is kind of unlucky since I already have burn on skill use and then attacks. Phantom is pretty hard of a mini-boss, or not a mini-boss, of a boss, especially when you don't have tons of damage. You can't one-cycle her, which you definitely will not be able to do if it's your first run or first attempt at trying to beat the game. It's also annoying how each wave, or each, sorry, I had to focus there. These lasers are much harder than I remember them to be, because generally I don't care about them, but obviously I need to be paying much more attention to them and be aware of what's actually happening. Right, where are you coming up? Okay, nice. Damn it, I got hit there. Okay, well, this is the last phase. Definitely the hardest phase. Also the most annoying phase, because they dash so many times. And if you get stunned, you just take a ton of damage. I didn't know she did this attack in this phase, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna try to sit on her and deal as much damage as possible. You can destroy the healing thing, but this also gives you a time to, like, just wail on her. So I just wailed on her. Kind of easier to deal a bunch of damage than try to take out something. Now, Area 4 is really hard. Arguably the hardest area. Just kidding. A5 is definitely hard. This area does have a lot of deadly entities, though. Enemies. These shockers are quite annoying, because they do zoom at you, and that can be very dangerous. Ripe Elderberry. These are all really good. So, Ripe Elderberry is basically when you heal, your crit is increased by 3, and since I have Rejuve Glove, it'll create like an infinite loop cycle, right? But Razor Bangle will give me a guaranteed crit on the first weapon hit on each enemy. So that's pretty good. Spice Shield's also fairly good. When armor is removed, deal that much damage around you. And it gives you bonus weapon damage for each armor you have. I think I have to go with Ripe Elderberry because I'm going to be going for that crit heal build. Like, you can already see it doing wonders. I've healed way more in the last, like, 30 seconds than I have in the rest of the run. Not even 30 seconds, like 15 seconds. Like, there's just so much sustain. And more crits. Just keep scaling the crit, and you shouldn't really have to worry about taking too much damage then. I just took a lot of damage there, and I kind of healed a bunch of it back. Never mind. I just took more damage. There's some food in some rooms. I don't know exactly which rooms they are. But yeah, there's food in a bunch of the rooms. If you ever need healing, you can just go exploring the room, and maybe you'll find something. Once again, since it's the very first run of this save file, Praxis comes in here and says, actually, let's make you fight some harder enemies. So he's going to enhance 2 enemies. So with enhanced enemies, you need to kill the crystals first. Otherwise, you do not stand a single chance. Because they just have so much damage reduction. Now, with this crit heal build, I was kind of able to just sit there and wail on them. But I do not advise that you do that. It's pretty sketchy. Because now I'm really low going into this room. Now, I got another achievement, which is to burn food. That makes food way less valuable. So, that was not good. I'm gonna go with more health. Alright. This mini-boss is 100% the hardest mini-boss in this game. It's just so difficult. Not this variant in particular, but this, like, area's mini-boss. It's just the hardest one. Everybody's in agreement of it. It just is so hard. Like, compare this one to the boss. Oh my god. The mini-boss is so much harder than the boss in this area. It's actually absurd. Like, I almost died there. Thank god for Meteor touching up. Also, this is where you unlock modifiers, weapon modifiers. You have to get to this area twice, beat the boss twice, and then boom, weapon modifiers have been unlocked. Okay, we're going move speed. So there's healing in this room. There's a couple of apples in this room that I know of. One is bottom left, and the other one's top right. You can also destroy the laser, like, prongs, which will then stop the laser from actually coming online. These guys are ranged enemies. They're very annoying to deal with, I'm not gonna lie. Once again, there's some healing here, but I'm just gonna walk on by it, because there's no point in taking any of it for 2 health that I'm missing, since I'll be able to heal that up in 1 crit, or 2 crits. Now, Overlord Mac is supposedly easier than the A4 mini-boss. So I also believe that, but once again, take it with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean that he's easy by any means. It just means that he's not super hard. There is spots on the corners where you can just infinitely hit him, and they won't, his attacks won't hit you, but other enemies' attacks, aka the minions that he spawns, will still be able to attack you. So just keep that in mind. Nice. That was pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Thank God we got some more health and some damage. So by this point, you want to have quite a lot of crit healing and a bunch of crit built up, so you can basically just sustain yourself. Area 5 is definitely going to be difficult. There's swarms of enemies. The rooms with bonus gems are generally single rooms, which make it easier for speedrunning, but might be way harder for like casual play and first win. But you also get bonuses, so it's kind of like a risk-reward factor, you know what I mean? These guys have one of two attacks. It's that attack that you just saw where he basically just sends out a wave of projectiles at you. And then the other one that he has is where he spawns in an enemy, but he can only spawn in that enemy like 4 times or something, so don't expect it to be too often. Now these guys, you kind of just wait between attacks and or dodge attacks, and then, the rest, you just beat them. So in the first half, you need 2 seals unlocked. I'm gonna go with the health seal here. It was either health or damage, but I think the health one is more important as of right now. I need the more health so I don't die to like a couple of hits. And hopefully I'll be able to get some more healing and be able to regen it up fast enough. So that enemy that I just killed, the turtle dude, he will drop spikes on the ground, which will come up and hit you after a certain duration. If you're standing on them, that is. There's also room modifiers, so like in this room, I'm having orbs shot at me. You gotta be aware of it. They don't deal a ton of damage, but being hit by multiple of them at the same time does deal a lot of damage. So just be aware that it is happening. The room modifiers make the room so much harder because you don't want to just take damage for no reason. Alright, so first half is done. You can do all of them if you want to, you don't have to. So this is a healing fountain. Once again, just like all the other healing fountains. You go to it and then you just heal up. These shades are quite annoying because they go into the sky, making them untargetable, and then will deal a bunch of damage to anybody who's under them when they come down. Didn't take too much damage. We're also going to take the Relic Selector here. Getting a bonus relic is pretty nice. This is a champion room with modifiers, room modifiers. So very deadly, like very, very, very deadly. As you can see right there, I took a ton of damage, like way more damage than I wanted to take. Yep. So you gotta be very careful. I died to the room modifier, so that's very unlucky. I just couldn't keep dodging all of the shades and all that, but hopefully this run helped you understand what enemies you need to focus, what enemies to stay away from, and a little bit about just how to go about trying to win your first game. The entire build is built around Rejuvenation Glove and having high crit. So you want to build your crit up as much as you can, as well as building up your max health, because you want to be able to take multiple hits and then be able to heal that back up throughout that one room. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was useful and helped you out a little bit. If it did, please leave a like. And if you want to see more of this content or any more videos that I have, just subscribe or go looking through my channel. That works too. And I'll see you guys in the next one.